Shalom, everybody. Halalahaya Bahasham Yeshaya Waharawak Kwadash. Aman. Halalahaya Bahasham Yeshaya Waharawak Kwadash. Yeshaya Hamashiach. All glory be to the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, Godhead, Triune, Holy Trinity. I hope you all are having a great day. In today's video, we're going to be learning about strange events that's been happening that is pointing to the end times. Certain events that's happening around these times that is signifying that we're in the end times according to what the Bible says and everything. So we're going to be going into a bunch of proof and evidence. So right now I just want to start off with this. Revelations chapter 17 verse 5. This is about the whore. Start with verse 2 of chapter 17. So, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many continents, many waters. Islam, Jezebel, Asterisk, fake Mother Mary of Catholics. In America, Statue of Liberty, all Jezebel. In China, all Jezebel. She's the whore. She is the devil, Lilith. The devil's wife, actually. With whom the kings of the earth, the presidents of the earth, have committed fornication with. Spiritual fornication. They drank of her lies and her false doctrines and her foreign laws. So he carried me away in the spirit. In the spirit he carried me away into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns, 7 kings and 10 nations, 10 kingdoms. Verse 5. And upon her head was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the great mother of harlots, not liberty, and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, the believers, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yeshua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. So now we go over here to, let me see. Alright, so now we go over here to Revelations chapter 18 verse 23, towards the end. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, merchants, buyers and sellers of commerce. They were the great men, the presidents, the Congress, all that stuff, army of the earth. And they all committed fornication with anti-constitutional laws, anti-life laws, and anti-natural laws, as well as anti-God laws, which happens to be anti-Christ. For by thy sorcery means to trick someone, to deceive someone, to daze them, were all nations deceived. So we were deceived by sorcery, which is drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, drugs in the food, chemicals in the food. All these things are sorcery. Television is sorcery. They're teleporting visions to your head. Music uses enchantment and sorcery. So sorcery seduces people. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. And that was Revelation chapter 18 towards the end of verse 23. So now you go to chapter 19 of Revelation. And after these things I heard a great voice of much people in heaven, saying, Hallelujah, Alleluia, Shaya, salvation and glory and honor and power unto the Lord our God. Ahaya. Bahasham Yeshaya. For true and righteous, Aman, are his judgments. For he had judged the great whore, which did corrupt the earth with the fornication. So America's going down. All these nations that committed fornication with Jezebel, they're all going down. And they're all being destroyed and consumed, especially by fire. And had avenged the blood of his saints at her hand. And again they said, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. And her smoke rose up forever and ever. And the 24 elders and the 4 beasts, the 4 kingdoms, fell down and worshipped Ahaya that sat on the throne, Yeshaya, saying, Amen, Hallelujah. And a voice came out of the throne saying, Praise our God, Ahaya, all ye his servants, and ye that fear him, both small and great. And I heard as it were the voice of a great multitude, and as the voice of many waters, people, and as the voice of mighty thundering, saying, Hallelujah, 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 for the Lord, Abba Ahaya, omnipotent reigneth. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come. Verse 9. Blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he saith unto me, these are the true sayings of Ahaya, of God. So now, if we continue on and go, hold on 1 second, make sure everything's on point. Alright, this is in Revelations chapter 12, verse 7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought, and his angels, the devil's angels, fought. And Michael and his angels fought, and prevailed not. The devil didn't prevail, he failed. Neither was their place found any more in heaven for him. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, that cockatrice, great dragon, fiery flying serpent, dragon, was cast out, that old serpent. So the dragon's also a serpent, a fiery serpent. It's also a snake, called the devil, Mastema, and Satan, Shatan, which deceiveth, which what? Deceiveth, that what? Deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation, Yeshua, and strength, and the kingdom of our God, Ahaya, and the power of his Christ, the truth. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God, Ahaya, day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, Christ Yeshua, and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death. So therefore rejoice, ye heavens, because the devil's no longer there, and ye that dwell in them, in space, in heaven, in the sky. Woe, death to the inhabitants of the earth, down here where Satan fell, and of the sea, because that's where he fell. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, anger in a short time, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So when he has a short time, and he wants to come pretty much destroy all of us before many of us become free and saved. Alright, so you go to Revelation chapter 9, verse 18. By these three was the third part of men killed, 2/3 of people, by the fire. So it's fire coming. Islam's going to detonate fire. And Jezebel is another name for ISIS. And sorceries, drugs and chemicals and stuff they put in our food nowadays. So, a third part of men killed by the fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth, and in their tails, their followers, their citizens, their believers. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads. And with them they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, the fire and brimstone, yet repented not. Therefore you need to repent to be saved. They repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils, governments, presidents, all that, and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and paper and of wood, which neither can see, nor hear, nor walk. Neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts. So, what is sorcery? Hold on 1 second. Let me get this for you guys real quick. Hold on 1 second. All praise to the Most High Yahya Bahasham Yeshaya Waharawat Kwadash. Hallelujah Bahasham Yeshaya Waharawat Kwadash. Aman. So before we continue on, we're going to get the definition of sorcery and pharmacy. Pharmakia. So, hold on 1 sec. We're going to be going into a video. More proof that Jezebel is riding the nations. The 7 heads with 10 horns. And I'm going to show you guys proof today. Some strange things been happening. Hold on 1 sec, y'all. And I'm going to make a different video about this too, but this one is very, very important. It's about sorcery, marijuana sorcery, tobacco sorcery. All that stuff is sorcery because it alters your chemicals. And anything that alters your chemicals is almost like magic. You see what I'm saying? It's witchcraft. It's the craft of man. Witchcraft, like pharmaceutical drugs. And I know a lot of y'all will say the Most High gave us herbs to smoke and eat and all that stuff, but certain herbs, because some of the fallen angels, when you look in the book of Enoch, gave us certain plants they weren't supposed to give us. They're called tares, which were planted in the center of the wheat by the enemy. So, hold on 1 sec. Let me look for this. 1 second. Okay. So they use enchantment, like chants and all that stuff against you guys. Chants, enchantment, witchcraft, all types of other stuff they use on you guys. All types of magic and stuff like that. So enchantment, encanto in Latin. Encanto, to sing. It means to sing. Enchantment. To practice sorcery or witchcraft on anything, to give efficacy to anything by songs of sorcery or fascination. And now about the cauldron sing, let elves and fairies in a ring, enchanting all that you put in, to subdue by charms or spells. And that was a example. And now about the cauldron sing, let elves and fairies in a ring, enchanting all that you put in, to subdue by charms or spells, spellings, words, chants, repeating things, to delight to the highest degree, to make you feel really good, feel really high. One moment you are feeling like crap, now you smoke some weed and stuff, you're feeling really great. Cigarette, tobacco, Tylenol, Advil, migraine pills, all this stuff is sorcery. And they tricked us by that sorcery. We were enchanted with the music. So the music, affected by sorcery, enchanted, fascinated, subdued by charms, delighted beyond measure, enchantment, inhabited or possessed by elves or demons, witches, or other imaginary mischievous spirits as an enchanted castle. Now here's an enchantor, one who enchants, sorcerer or magician, one who has spirits or demons at his command, one who practices enchantment or pretends to perform surprising things, like all your street magicians and some of the pastors in the church with false miracles by the Kundalini spirit, by the agency of demons, one who charms or delights, enchanters, nightshade, a genus of plants. So there's a kind of plants that enchant, give you high pleasure, and it does not really get rid of the sickness or the dis-at-ease. So every time you're off that medicine or that weed or that what you call your remedy, which is sorcery and a drug and witchcraft, you know what I'm saying? When you're off of it, you feel a need for it. You be addicted. There's a strong tie there. Like crack. When if you ever done crack, not me, and I rebuke you and anyone who do it, but if you ever done crack, you'll love it. You'll love it so much it's bad. It's extremely pleasureful, like McDonald's, Burger King, hearing the lies, all that stuff. So you've been filled up with things that make you feel good for an itching ear, but they're all a lie. Now this is what a doctor is, a docker, putting things to death. practices witchcraft. So all doctors in today's time are witch doctors. All Pharisees and lawyers and scribes, legislators, all practice witchcraft. Because they're practicing law, they're practicing medicine, all this stuff, but it's all mancraft. Based by man's perception of healing, not by the Most High's perception of healing and recommendation according to the biblical proof. So a doctor is a witch doctor who practices witchcraft, the craft of man. Medicine, cure, remedy, sorcery, pharmacy, law. Now you see? And that's what they're using on us. Now delusion. The act of deluding, deception. You're under delusion. You're being deceived, deception. Remember this, the devil, the one who deceived the world? A misleading of the mind. We are all liable to the delusions of artifice, artificial things. False representation, illusion, illusion, error, or mistake proceeding from false views. This is not the Statue of Liberty. Christ is our liberty. She's the great whore. And fondly mourned the their delusion gone. So now delusive, to deceive, tending to mislead the mind, deceptive, beguiling, as delusive arts, delusive appearances, magic, delusiveness. So delusiveness, the quality of being delusive, tendency to deceive. And here's delusion, the act of deluding, deception, a misleading of the mind. We are liable to the delusions of artifice once again. And that is a false representation, an error, an illusion. So now before we continue on, you guys are going to love this video. You guys are going to love this video because I'm going to put it all out there as best as I can. So let me look for, because I see, okay, right here. Pharmacy, and there's a devil of the pharmacy too, and in Greek is called pharmakia, P-H-R-A-M-A-K-E-I, P-H-R-A-M-A-K-E-I, and that comes, pharmacy comes from that Greek word, Latin word, pharmakia, and it means sorcery, witchcraft, medicine, drugs, all types of drugs, and they just legalize marijuana. This is bad. So goddess Bridget, that's what they call her. She a goddess, which means Jezebel. So there's different names for Jezebel. She disguised her name under herself under many names, as well as Baal, Osiris, and Isis. That's their name. So her name is Goddess Bridget, which is bridge. That's the name of the devil. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my dear lady. You see? Goddess of witchcraft. She's a goddess of witchcraft. Magic, sorcery, drugs, seduction. And this is what she's associated with. She's the one who actually killed Whitney Houston. She drowned in a sea of pharmacia, of pharmaceutical drugs, of sorcery, of magic. So they can use the word pharmacy for a code name for a devil, a demon. Oh, she overdosed on pharmaceutical drugs. They're trying to say she overdosed on Bridget. And this is what she's associated with. Wells, water, everything that has to do with water. Remember, Jezebel is the one over the 10 nations across the water. The 10 kingdoms of the 7 kings of the New World Order. So she's associated with wells, water, drowning, underwater, bath, tub, the tub, everything that has to do with water. Drunk, dizzy, drunk on liquid. Dazed, like you're dizzy and drunk. Water, drowning in the sea of commerce. She's in charge of childbirth, the birth canal, the canal for the baby to come through. She's in charge of the sea, ocean, beach. And these are the other things she's in charge of. Fountains of water. Because she's all about sorcery and water and things in large quantities. She's in charge of what they call the other side and some of the portals. So she's a crossway, a bridge, a crossing, other side, portals. Drowning, drunk, dizzy, dazed, under a spell. Word spelling. S-W-O-R-D is the W-O-R-D. And the W-O-R-D, which is the S word, the W-O-R-D-S, which is the S word, which is your words, is your S-P-E-L-L, your spell. And you consent to it with your S-I-G-N-A-T-U-R-E, which is signature, which you sign and spell in cursive. Curse Ivy, curse Eve. So she's in charge of hypnosis, the new age hypnosis things they're doing to people without the Most High. Eternal flames of fire. Childbirth. Admiralty, the sea, the beach, the ocean, that's all have to do with water. Her other name is Madonna. She's also in charge of certain crossovers, Passover. Her other name is Ishtar, Isis, Ashtoreth, Ashtar, Lilith, the Virgin, so-called Mary. And she's not the Virgin Mary, which the Catholics claim. And virgin mean pure and righteous. It does not mean immaculate conception, a birth without intercourse. Christ come from the seed of Joseph, and Joseph is the son of King David, and the Most High made a promise to King David that he will have a son that will rule in his seat, in his throne. And that's where Christ is going to be sitting, in the throne of King David. So, she's in charge of Lilith, Ashtar, the whore of Babylon, which was also the whore that cheated on Adam with the serpent, and she ate some of the apple and made Adam partake in it. So the Most High blotted her out of the Holy Bible, although she's in the book of Adam and Eve, if you look it up. She's in charge of Esther. She's the mother of Tammuz, mother of Horus, Satan. Horus, Satan, is another word for Tammuz. Her other name, as you know, is Isis. Ceramyces, Ceram, Isis, Medusa, Saduceus, Jezebel, moon worship. She's the half crescent moon and this 5-point star on the flag, and the Statue of Liberty with the crowns. She's the mother of Amen-Ra, which is Satan, and Horus, Ra. Well, actually, she's the wife of Ra, the wife of Osiris. Actually, yeah, I am right. Ra, Sun Ray Ra is another way for Horus, the devil, the sun. She's the mother of the sun, Lucifer, the morning star. Asterisk, Astereth, Autistic, Aphrodite, Venus, Saturn's wife. She's Saturn's wife. Venus, penis, Athena. So the other use of sorcery, enchantment, is catchy melodies, music, colors, chants, mantras, songs. All these things are part of sorcery. Hold on one sec. Medicine, drugs, all that stuff. Mantras, songs, tones, vibrations, frequencies, woo, 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 woo. Rhythm, dance, cartoons, rainbows, illusion, rainbows, gay people and all that stuff, cartoons, soft voices, calm voices to enchant you. So now sorcery, use of supernatural power over others through the assistance of spirits, witchcraft. Sorcery, magic, enchantment, witchcraft, divination, to be the assistance of evil spirits or the power of commanding evil spirits. Adder's wisdom, they call it. I have learned to fence my ears against the sorceries, which you need to know. So ravishing with delight, enchantment, sorcery, all that stuff. Alright, so now that you guys know what sorcery mean, enchantment, and witchcraft, look right here now. Hold on one sec. So right here in Revelations chapter 14 verse 8. Wait, Revelations chapter 14 verse 7. Saying with a loud voice, fear God, Ahaya, and give glory to Ahaya, to him. For the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth, and the sea, and the fountains of waters. Not Jezebel or Bridget or none of that. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Wine, Dizzy, Bridget, Lilith. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark of the beast, Allah, or the Vero 666 chip in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God Ahaya, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever and ever and ever. And they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High, and the faith of Yeshua. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, write, blessed, Barak, are the dead which die in the Lord Ahaya from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, Christ, Yeshua, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. So, and another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle and reap. For the time is come for thee to reap. For the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And this is what a lot of people say is the rapture. So, all right, before we finish on with that, let's continue on. So she is the mystery Babylon. And what is her name according to the Bible real quick, although we all know? Alright, so Revelations chapter 2, verse 20. Notwithstanding, so the Most High say at verse 19. Actually, start at verse 18. These things saith the Son of God, Yeshua Bahasham Mahaya, who hath his eyes like unto a flame of fire, and his feet are like fine brass, brown, different shades of brown. I know thy works in charity, and service, and faith, and thy patience, and thy works, and the last, thy works, to be more than the first, which is thy works. Notwithstanding, I have a few things against thee, because thou sufferest that woman Jezebel, or Lilith, or Bridget, Statue of Liberty, all that stuff, which calleth herself a prophetess, a mother, a queen, a princess, all that, to teach and to seduce my servants, especially the woman, to commit fornication and to eat things sacrificed unto idols. Verse 21. And I gave her space to repent of her fornication, and she repented not. Behold, I will cast her into a bed. She's going to get raped, tortured, her flesh, the America. And them that commit adultery with her, all them people, binded up together, and to great tribulation of the bottomless pit, and torment day and night, eternal fire. Except, only, unless they repent of their deeds. And I will kill her children, and that's what Bridget and Lilith do. She's the mother of the dead, Eve is the mother of the living, with death. And all the churches and assemblies and congregations shall know that Ahaya, I am he which searcheth the reins and searcheth the hearts, and I will give unto every one of you according to your works. So in chapter 3 of Revelations, verse 12, him that overcometh will I make a pillar. Wait, pardon me. Start from verse 10 of chapter 3 of Revelations. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptations. And that's what the 10 Commandments help you do, to stay away from the temptations and sin, which shall come upon all the earth, which is lawlessness and death, to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown, which is Christ. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my God, Christ says, and he shall go no more out. and I will write him upon the name of my God. And I will write upon him, and I will write upon him the name of my God, Ahaya, and the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, Yis-RoyAl, which cometh down out of heaven. May your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, from my God, Ahaya. And I will write upon him my new name. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches, and unto the angels of the church. These things saith the Amen, which mean the faithful and true witness. That's what Amen mean, faithful and true witness. The beginning of the creation of Ahaya. I know thy works, that thou wert neither cold nor hot, you're lukewarm. I would thou were cold or hot, rather you're evil or righteous. Don't be both. So then, because thou art lukewarm, both, and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. So, all right, now we continue on. Continuing on, hold on one second. Halalahaya bahasham yeshaya waharawak kwadash. Halalahaya bahasham yeshaya waharawak kwadash. Aman. Halalahaya bahasham yeshaya waharawak kwadash. All right, we're about to continue. 1 second. All right, this is in Revelations. Chapter 19, verse 13. Now look it. And he was clothed, Yeshaya, with a vesture dipped in blood. And his name is called the Word of God. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine white linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, the word of God, of Ahaya, I am. That with it he should smite the nations, destroy the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of kings and Lord of lords. And I saw an angel standing in the sun. And he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, Come and gather yourselves together unto the supper, the last supper of the great God, Ahaya. So there's about to be a big war coming. Hold on 1 sec. All right, chapter 21 of Revelations, verse 7. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son and daughter. But the fearful, are you fearful now? And unbelieving, do you believe? And the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars, which are sorcerers, murderers, abominable, fearful, unbelieving, and they're whoremongers, and idolaters, and all liars, so they're all liars, shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. So he says right here in Revelation chapter 22 verse 7, Behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he or she that keepeth the sayings of the prophecy of this book. Verse 9, Worship God. Worship God. Worship the Most High. So it says right here in verse 14 of chapter 22 of Revelations, chapter 22, verse 14, Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without, because those who are without the commandments are dogs, and are sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and they lead people astray, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. I, Yeshua, Christ, have sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. Ahaya, I am the root. This is what Yeshai says. I am the root and the offspring, the sperm, the seed of David, his granddad, and the bright and morning star. And the Spirit and the bride say, come. And let him that heareth say, come. And let him that is athirst come. And whosoever will, let him take the water, salvation, of life freely. So, all right, let's go ahead and begin with our video now. Now that you guys have an understanding of what's going on. So watch this. In the last days, perilous times will come, for men will be lovers of themselves. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Let me make sure everything's recording. Alright. And remember, marijuana weed is sorcery. It used to be illegal because it's extremely bad. It took me a while to get over it, too.
We got a new poll out. Pew Research Center. It's over. Marijuana is going to be legal throughout the country.
One of the world's very first recreational marijuana shops. Even in Amsterdam, it's tolerated but technically illegal.
8 a.m., we're gonna do it!
Scoring weed now as easy as buying coffee.
Sean, your total is $59.74.
Anyone over 21 can buy it, helping fuel a Colorado green rush.
We want to be the Costco of marijuana. Costco of marijuana.
In the first year alone, sales are predicted to hit nearly $400 million.
President Obama has clarified his thinking about marijuana in an interview with the New Yorker's David Remnick. The president said, as has been well documented, I smoked pot as a kid and I view it as a bad habit and a vice, not very different from the cigarettes that I smoked as a young person up through a big chunk of my adult life. I don't think it is more dangerous than alcohol. When asked if marijuana is less dangerous, when pressed on that point, less dangerous than alcohol, the president allowed the obvious, that it is less dangerous. As for the legalization of marijuana in Colorado and Washington, the president said it's important for it to go forward because it's important for society. I don't think we've ever heard, we definitely have never heard anything like this at the presidential level.
I've been smoking since I was 13.
You got the link though?
Constantly. I could smoke Snoop Dogg under the table. It makes me happy.
And they got new drug artists promoting this stuff like Snoop Dogg, Wiz Khalifa, all this junk.
Sitting around the fire,
they're witch doctors.
Drawings for all these different pieces of equipment, and everything is hand watered.
So we thought, well, you know, this could make us some money, and we all do it together. Pot brings people together.
They're going to be owners of this place once I'm gone. I'm very proud of my kids.
Pot in the back is so beautiful.
Where do you stand on the recreational and medical use of marijuana?
I'm for all of it. End the war on drugs. It's a miserable failure. You know, the great actor that just died, Philip Seymour Hoffman, he would be alive today if we didn't have the war on drugs.
Why do you say that?
Because he would have got heroin that wouldn't have killed him. That's how I can say it. That's the point. It would have been controlled. He could have gone to a medical doctor. He could have gone to a pharmacy. People need to understand addiction should not be treated criminally. Addiction should be treated medically. It's a medical problem.
Medical, pharmacy.
MarijuanaDoctors.com is the only service that connects patients with real doctors for medical marijuana recommendations. Simple, confidential,
Jezebel and Baal.
safe.
Thank you very much, Larry. I appreciate that. I'll get it from here. This is serious stuff. The show is called Sex Box, and it features people having sex in a box. You heard me correctly. The producers of the show are spinning it in the most high-minded of terms, saying they're trying to provoke an adult conversation about sex in this era of online pornography. As you might imagine, not everybody agrees. As
Gay
America
people, too.
recovers from Miley Cyrus's twerking, the UK is bracing for an even bigger sexual revolution, one that will most definitely be televised. The show is called Sex Box, and it involves couples having sex in front of a live studio audience while inside this opaque, soundproof
That's
room.
sick.
The couples will then discuss their experiences with this panel of experts. Executives say Sex Box is an attempt to generate serious dialogue in the midst of an explosion of online pornography, which is distorting people's expectations of sex.
Porno, sorcery, and witchcraft too.
Sexual experiences through pornography, and it makes the real experiences seem very different.
Others say this is just naked striving for ad dollars. As one critic put it, Sex Box is an attempt to boost ratings while pretending to help society. But Dr. Karen Stewart, a sex and relationship expert, thinks the show could actually serve a purpose.
We're going to get the opportunity to see who they are and what they just experienced. So it can also be educational and tantalizing.
Why have you volunteered yourselves for the Sex Box?
I think we just want to show that
Gay
we're
people.
a normal, healthy couple. We just happen to be men and see
It's
what people think of
nuts.
that.
I understand, agree with what he said, yeah. We're
On
happy,
TV.
Gay, we're proud of it, so...
So are you looking forward to going into the box, as it were?
Yes, I think we are.
People already going in it.
Now it's happening.
Yeah.
We're ready.
Have a great, great time.
Thank you.
Oh, this is so nasty, man. It's sick. It's sick. Babylon has fallen.
Hey guys, how are you feeling? You look a bit blurry.
Yeah, I feel a bit... Yes. The blood's rushed to this head now.
Did it feel like quite a pressure?
It felt like the first time. It felt like losing your virginity, honestly. It was
weird.
that type of pressure, wasn't
But
it?
it was certainly fun. We had a good time.
They were having sex in a ding
They
box
look like
in front of everyone.
garages or shelters for hikers, but these wooden sheds in Zurich, Switzerland, are part of an initiative to regulate prostitution. The so-called
Now they're starting to
drive-in
do
sex
prostitution
boxes
legal.
have been provided by the city council. The idea is men wanting to pay for sex can drive into one of the sheds, having picked up a prostitute from an approved area. We've had a problem here which has been getting worse over the last few years, especially regarding Roma women, some of whom were being forced into prostitution. This was a degrading situation which we really had to stop. It's hoped the sex boxes will persuade prostitutes to sell their services away from residential areas. in a safe
Organized
environment.
prostitution.
The sheds are all equipped with alarms.
Organized weed.
Pastor Lesejo
False
Daniel.
pastors everywhere.
Daniel claims to heal the sick and even cast out demons. Daniel's followers are totally under his control, but some of his methods have raised eyebrows. Congregants are made
They're controlling
to eat
them. They're
grass.
possessed.
And Daniel
They think it's the Holy
insists
Spirit.
It's an instruction from above. Daniel says none of his followers have ever fallen ill from eating grass and claims it's a sign of God's doing.
A pastor has reportedly told women attending his church not to wear underwear so they can feel closer to God. The strange request was apparently made by Reverend Njoi at his ministry in Nairobi, Kenya. The female congregants were forbidden from wearing bras and underwear during his service at the Lord's Propeller Redemption Church, according to the Kenyan Post. Njoi reportedly said worshippers needed to feel free in their mind and body when attending, but strangely did not say men needed to leave their pants at home as well. The pastor added there would be grave consequences if his female members did not adhere to the new rule, which was reportedly adhered to as
They
most
actually went
women
to
are
church
said to
with
have
no
attended
panty.
the next service with no underwear.
A kindergarten teacher found two of her students, they were 5 years old, naked in the bathroom, attempting to have sex. Let me go ahead and roll the clip.
Lose her job after two of her students were, quote, having sex in the classroom's bathroom. Kelly Masco reported the incident to her supervisor after she says she found the two 5-year-olds completely naked. They told her they were having sex Now, the Mullica Township Board of Education voted to bring charges against this teacher through the state and remove her from her position. No charges have yet been filed, but the 15-year educator was immediately suspended without pay. The big question is, why is she being suspended if she did report the incident?
Right, and you and I both said that she was suspended without pay. She was suspended with pay, but it brings up it's a
she's in trouble for reporting the truth.
Tentacles, and I think people have been very vocal on Twitter about this story, and I think we're going to hear more about this in the coming days.
Now, one thing I do not agree with: why are you penalizing the teacher for reporting something that she should have reported immediately? There's no reason to do anything like that to her. Are y'all sick and incompetent over there that's in authority?
Get yourself out of the
That woman did
fool,
what
out of
any
school.
person's supposed to do when they see something like that.
72-year-old man was working as a substitute teacher at Stanford High School, but with students nearby, police say he did something so disgusting that parents and students in the school are all outraged tonight. News 8's Noel Gardner live at our New Haven newsroom with more. Noel?
Darren and Ann, police tell me the substitute teacher was caught in the act twice with his pants down before class, fondling himself with students watching. Michael Lukey, a Stanford substitute teacher, was arrested after he was caught with his pants down
The
at
truth
West Hill High
hurts.
School.
Stop feeling good with lies.
Police putting the
Wake up.
72-year-old in handcuffs for public indecency after a teaching assistant found him fondling himself in the hallway.
We approached him.
The government's creating these people through the sin stem.
Detectives say the substitute teacher unzipped and lowered his pants, touching himself while students were walking by. Police say they caught the substitute teacher in the act twice on camera.
Back a few minutes before that, and we found him in a stairwell, looking out a window, looking at kids in the courtyard, and he was manipulating his pants.
After Lukey was caught, he went to a classroom to teach students before he was put in the back of a police cruiser. He's been a substitute teacher for 3 years now in the Stanford school system.
Wow. It really makes me sick to my stomach to think that, that's happening here at our schools.
So VH1 got the green light with 10 episodes of a new show called Naked Dating.
What? Naked dating?
Naked Dating.
So what goes on?
Well, it's what it says.
Naked dating?
There's going to be naked people going on dates with two suitors, and there's going to be no clothing involved, and they're going to be in a remote, exotic location.
Alien judge
sex
has ruled
through
that
music
a
and
woman
all.
who has a chemical imbalance that triggers hypersexuality is allowed to masturbate at work while watching porn at her desk.
Public masturbators, rejoice. Swedish beaches are now, open territory for you to whip it out and start self-pleasuring.
Rebuke you.
A 65-year-old man was giving himself what they're calling in this article a sandy handy, and he was charged with a sex assault charge. And then eventually they came back and said he wasn't actually targeting it at anyone, and so there's no offense because sexual assault is to a person. So he wasn't actually aiming or anything.
Yeah.
And so it seems like now on Swedish beaches, that sort of thing is okay.
Procedure in New York continues to draw controversy this week as thousands took to the streets to protest the NYPD's Stop and Kiss program. The policy, which allows officers to kiss anyone who they think looks suspicious, has been the subject of criticism from those who say it's a violation of privacy and a potential breach of constitutional rights. New Yorkers who've been stopped often say the encounters feel extremely intrusive.
Going through my pockets, throwing my stuff on the ground, kissing me on my neck and face. They push me up against the wall and start nibbling on my ear. It's humiliating.
It's something you learn to live with at this point. Every time I go out and I see a cop, I'm ready for him to come up, ask me questions, and give me a little kiss, just because, the color of my skin. I mean, you don't see them kissing any pretty white ladies out here.
In his last month in office, Mayor Bloomberg has continued to defend the practice, saying, quote, "This program helps keep New Yorkers safe. If someone is suspected of a crime, officers should be allowed to question them and leave them with a small and reasonable kiss on the mouth." Joining us now is legal analyst Susan Hughes and Mark Brennan, a former police officer who has defended the Stop and Kiss program. Susan, does this policy go too far?
It does, Rachel. Look, it's one thing to kiss someone who you think might commit a crime, but these officers are just kissing people left and right with no probable cause.
If you've got nothing to hide, then it's not a problem.
They just stop, ask where you're going, give you a gentle kiss or two, and let you go.
I am not saying that the police shouldn't be able to detain people and kiss them, but it has to be done in a colorblind way. I mean, the fact of the matter is 9 out of 10 people who are kissed under this policy in New York are black and Latino.
Yeah, that's because officers are kissing people in high crime areas. These kisses aren't racially motivated. The police are just doing their job.
But Mark, there have been examples, public examples, where these procedures have just gone too far. Let's take a look at a disturbing cell phone video that's been making the rounds on the internet.
Stop! Put your hands on your head. Oh, come on, man. They just kissed me 2 blocks ago. Come on, man. I didn't do anything. Shut the f*** up and let me kiss you.
What the hell? Ain't that weird?
This is happening every day.
But some argue this is just the
This is
unfortunate
weird.
reality we live in. Tighter security at airports,
Fornication
sporting
with
events,
Jezebel.
kiss points in Washington, D.C.
We're no longer a
Commissioner
Christian
Kelly said,
country.
quote, this is what post-9/11 police work looks
No
like.
one dies
Honestly,
for
if we could
Christ.
kiss everyone in New
They
York
die
City,
to
we
live.
would. We just don't have the manpower.
Look, the cops can either kiss people now before there's violence, or they can be kissing a bunch of dead bodies
That's
at a
gay.
crime scene.
All right, well, thanks, Mark and Susan. It is a complex issue.
Pushing sex and homosexuality on us. We're being seduced by Jezebel. She's the return of the divine feminine. They call her New Age. The devil. The devil. The devil. The devil. Bestiality, gays, everything the Most High told us not to do.
People don't know what right and wrong is anymore.
Yup, and that's very true. No one knows what's right or wrong anymore. We're going to continue on with our next video now. This is the end of America pretty much, as you can tell. If a house is divided against itself, that means if they're not united, that house cannot stand. Mark 3, verse 25. So we need to unite. We need to group up. The sheep's being separated from the goat, and the tares being separated from the wheat. And the good herbs are being separated from the detrimental herbs. And the good angels are being separated from the antichrist, godless and Christless demons that believe their God or God's in their heart and all this bullcrap, and there's no creator of heaven and earth and all things herein and therein, in the spiritual world and in the physical world. So look, in Romans chapter 1, verse 25. Who had changed the truth of God, Ahaya, into a lie? Who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature, the creation, more than the creator, the employer, creditor, Ahaya, who is blessed forever and ever. Amen. We affirm. Verse 26. For this cause, because of people turning the truth into a lie, Ahaya gave them up. He gave the people who's all up in a lie unto vile affections, wants, needs, desires, wants, needs, desires, pleasures, pleasure, beyond pleasure, enchantment, witchcraft, sorcery, vile affections. For even their woman, even the woman, did change the natural use. Her natural breasts, her natural lips, her natural eyes, her natural hair, her natural vagina, into that which is against nature. Botox, implants, surgeries, makeup, all that stuff. And likewise, also the men, and the men as well, leaving the natural use of the woman, man and man, man with family, all this stuff, ancestry. The natural use of woman, now masturbating, using their hand that comes on the sheet or in a condom or something like that. Leaving the natural use of the woman, watching porno, watching television, and masturbating to that. Leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust, one toward another. One man toward another, burn in their lust, their vile affections. Men with men, working that which is unseemly. Woo, men and men. And receiving in themselves D after D after D down from dudes, that recompense, payback of their error, which was meat. And even as they did not like to retain a higher God in their knowledge, the Creator, Ahaya, gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. This is convenient. All praise to the Most High Ahaya, Bahasham Yeshua. Being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, masturbation, sex outside of marriage, without marriage, wickedness, talking about killing and violence in the music, destruction, all that stuff. Government always talking about war and lying, deceiving, covetousness, secret societies, none full disclosure. They're never telling you everything. Covetousness, maliciousness, how they're evil. Shut up and I have to kiss you and kiss me, whatever that cop just said. Maliciousness, evil, coercion, full of envy, wishing they were us, Hebrew Israelites, and think we're racist for speaking out the truth. Look at your country. Murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whispers, enchantment, backbiters, haters of God, the Creator of all, despiteful, despite what you heard, you're not believing, despiteful, proud to be despiteful, a backbiter, hater of God. And they boast about it, boasters. Oh, I did this, I did that, I built this, I got 2 jobs and blah, blah, blah. Does that matter? Worshipping the creature, the creation more than the creator of the creation, of the creature. We have an owner. I have an owner. Inventors of evil things. The phone, the internet, www means 666, va va va. In ancient Paleo Hebrew and in modern day Hebrew, VVV, www. And they're inventing iPods to track you down, and microchips, and all types of stuff they're using. Even the GPS, they're using all that against you. Television. This technology takes a toll off of us because there's frequencies being emitted from it. Now, if you take your phone charger, especially if you have a Metro, and it's plugged in, listen to the charger. Put the charger next to your ear real quick. Do it real quick. Do you hear that frequency in there? Yes, even in your room right now, if you really pay attention, there's sounds. They're using frequencies on us. Bridge it. Or voo, to put your energy down, like in a car. Car go voo. So the only way you can feel alive is by going voo. You know what I'm saying? By hitting the gas. And they put all those miles per hour on the car when we can't even go that fast. When it's illegal to go that fast, they claim, in God's world that is under only the 10 Commandments. So it's crazy. So, evil, there'll be inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding. Do you understand what I'm telling you right now? Do you disobey your forefathers and your mother and father and your heavenly mother and father and your forefathers and foremothers? Are you disobedient to the laws of the ancestors? Without understanding, covenant breakers, truce breakers, which are contract breakers, constitutional breakers, without natural affections, because they have been given over to a reprobate mind, to vile affections. You see what I'm saying? They have been given to vile affections and artificial affections, as well as artificial intelligence, which is what school teaches your children. Implacable, unmerciful, no mercy, who knowing the judgment of Ahaya, that they which commit such things that we just said are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. So let's continue on. That was in Romans chapter 1, verse 26 through 32. Check this out. United we stand, divided we...
That we here, highly resolve, these dead shall not have died in vain.
There goes your God.
That the nation...
Look at your
will
God.
have a new birth of freedom. And that government of the people, by the people, for the people.
Look at your God.
Shall not perish.
Hold on. They wanted to give us commercial against our will right now. And look how they almost say masturbate when you look at it real quick. They always trying to put things in your mind.
From the earth.
This nation under God.
People, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
This nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom.
This nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom.
This nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom.
This nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom.
This nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom.
This nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom.
This nation under God
shall have a new birth of freedom.
That this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom.
That the nation shall have a new birth of freedom.
That tells you that this war on Christmas is really the tip of the spear when it comes to a greater battle that's brewing. And that battle that's brewing is those who would want to take God out of our society, out of our culture, which will lead to ruin, as history has proven.
Everyone's trying to tell you.
Any government society that has kicked God out of the public square completely, it leads to ruin. Why would we go down that path when we know what would happen?
So why did this happen? Our senior correspondent John Miller is with us. He's the former head of counterterrorism for the LAPD. John, what have you learned about the suspect?
He is Paul Anthony Ciancia. He walks into the terminal. He's got the gun in a garment bag. He takes the rifle out. He opens fire, shoots his way through the checkpoint, going down a side, coming around the back end. He's focused on the TSA agents. Inside the bag, we are told investigators came up with notes saying that the TSA were fascists and pigs, anti-American rantings, anti-TSA rantings, and references to the New World Order, which is kind of a growing conspiracy group that believes the world is going to be taken over by forces in black helicopters and so on.
First up, it's all eyes on the sky.
See, give you little pieces
now
of it.
From Phoenix. For the second
But the
night
New
in a
World
row,
Order is going to be
military
under
training
Christ.
Exercises are underway around the valley. And within the last half hour, the Phoenix
warming
Police
up for
Department
us.
has confirmed to 3TV that they are supporting Department of Defense training around the city. There have been a lot of helicopters seen all across the valley tonight.
Our own Bruce Hafner has reported seeing military helicopters flying low over the Scottsdale area.
We're being watched and we're preparing for a war, Armageddon, the great day of the Lord. Christ's going to come down with glory and majesty and power.
In Maryland. And not because you want to, but because of the things that you've seen and the things that you know. Tell me what you think is happening with the government is being used as a weapon to destroy people right now.
Yeah, we're at a very dangerous point, Glenn, and thank you for having me. It's always an honor. It's been a while, so it's great to see you, and congrats on everything with the Blaze. It's just taken off.
Please, thank you.
Yeah, we're in a lot of trouble. The president sees government, and I think it's because of his lack of experience and maybe community organizing in the past is like this shiny new toy, which for all the disagreements I had with Clinton, Carter, and Bush, there were always limits. There was that line you just didn't cross. We cross it seemingly every day,
Every
right?
day.
We're lost in the scandals. The Jamie Dimon shakedown at Chase, the HHS scandal, Kathleen Sebelius shaking down the healthcare industry for money, the IRS. It's to the point, Glenn, where these scandals in and of themselves would be huge, back-breaking scandals, are just lost in the scandal fog in this administration. It's worse than people know. I'm not trying to scare you either.
Tell me about the NSA. But with knowing you are Secret Service.
Yeah.
So knowing what you know, tell me what we should be concerned about.
You give the government information, it will be abused. It is not a matter of if it'll be abused. Keep in mind, it's only a matter of when. But the bottom line is, having worked inside the government, it will be abused. It is only a matter of time.
So what should we be doing? Because we ring the bell, we talk about it, we look at it, but it's not going. It's just not, doesn't seem like it's going anywhere, Dan.
No, it's not. And the reason is, as I said, that with the Obama administration, that they're experts in losing you in the fog of scandal. This NSA thing is a back-breaking story. It really is. It gets at the very roots, I'm looking at your roots there in the grass, the roots of what liberty means. That flag means something. It's undermining the very principles by which made this country great. I know you're a believer. I'm a Christian. Jesus Christ, as far as I know, was the only perfect human being to ever plant his feet on this
Christ
earth.
yourself.
We are all doing something wrong. Remember, when the key's held by someone else, liberty means absolutely nothing. That personal and private self are being evaporated.
200 military leaders out of their posts since President Obama took office. Why are we seeing this purge of some of our greatest leaders, and what effect will this have on our national security?
A lot of these guys disagree professionally with the White House, and as a result, they're getting fired.
Georgia restaurant owner who proudly makes it his mission to honor those who have served our country, now facing a fight over a U.S. flag that he flies at his establishment. Darren Miller says he was cited by the city for showing his appreciation to the troops.
The city now, where it was a violation of in the right-of-way, now they're backpedaling a little bit, saying now it's a permit issue. And I just don't think I should have to pay money to fly the American flag or support our men and women in uniform.
Yeah.
And I refuse to.
Absolutely right. Dean, what do you think this says about our country that you weren't able to fly your flags?
Well, I think, it's a shame.
Should high school students say the Pledge of Allegiance before class? Well, according to the school district, no. Last night, they voted down a proposal that would require the teenagers to recite the pledge every day. The reason? Board members decided there's not enough time during the day to say it.
We felt that we wanted to make it clear that at the high school level, we do not, there's not always an opportunity to have the Pledge of Allegiance spoken every day.
This is why people don't understand what we're fighting for. When we talk about current events and we talk about these issues and what we're looking to preserve, they can't tell you because they can't even recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Proud of his 20-year military service and his 10 years of work at Dameron Hospital, Boots Hawks says he's not afraid of expressing his beliefs.
I believe in America, and I believe in God so strongly, and I believe that America needs a blessing.
The phrase, God bless America, has been in Hawks' work email signature for more than a year. But just days before Veterans Day, Hawks says the hospital asked him to remove it. He says he did remove it before he sent another email. Yet the next day, he was called into the office.
I was going to be put on administrative leave immediately. And this was last Friday, right before the Veterans Day weekend.
In the end, Hawks just wants to be able to put God bless America back on his email signature.
Meanwhile, an American soldier fighting for faith after an army briefing slaps a hate group label on a well-established traditional Christian ministry.
That's right. The presentation linked the American Family Association to hate groups such as the Ku Klux Klan, neo-Nazis, Black Panthers, and the Nation of Islam.
Her voice
and chants so enraged, the
her voice and chants.
Punishment for his own Christian values, he reached out to our own Todd Starnes.
Yeah, this happened out at Camp Shelby in Mississippi, and the soldier was part of 50 active duty and reservist troops that had to attend this mandatory session. And in this session, they certainly did label the American Family Association, which is a well-respected Christian ministry, as an example of a hate group. And the soldier snapped a photograph that he sent me showing the slideshow presentation, and also another briefing, and I believe this was in the Air Force, labeled evangelical Christianity and Catholicism as examples of religious extremism. So there's something going on here. The Pentagon, we tried to talk to them. They told us we needed to talk to the Army. And at that point, the Army, well, it's been almost 24 hours and we still haven't heard
They send you to and fro.
A U.S. soldier
you find no answers, no solution, no remedy.
I had to show Americans what our soldiers are now being taught. I couldn't just let this one pass. I was completely taken back by this blatant attack, not only on the AFA, but Christians in our beliefs. Your thoughts on that?
Elizabeth, for the past 5 years under the Obama administration, we have seen a significant increase in anti-Christian rhetoric and activity in the military.
It all started with a traffic stop for speeding, but it quickly escalated into a very dangerous situation. In the end, a 14-year-old was charged with attacking a state trooper. His mother is facing felonies, and now there are questions about why one officer fired at a minivan full of children.
Excessive force no matter what.
Oriana Farrell and a state police officer are arguing over a ticket just south of Taos.
Abuse of power.
But as the cop walks off, Farrell does the opposite, pulling away instead. So he pulls her over again. The officer isn't too happy.
Get out of the vehicle. Get out of the vehicle right now.
You can see the officer try to pull Farrell out while the 5 kids inside scream. Finally,
the woman
Farrell
was
agrees
afraid.
to get out and talk, but the conversation doesn't last long.
See, she was afraid. Because she have kids. She probably didn't have license.
While that happens, the 14-year-old gets out again. And this time, he rushes the officer, trying to defend his mom. After a
like
short
a man's
tussle,
supposed
Ray
to
runs
do.
back into the minivan. The officer tries to get him out while backup arrives.
Open the door! Open the door!
They wanted to
Farrell
do that.
starts to drive off while another officer fires at the minivan full of kids as young as 6.
Everyone in danger. Boom,
What
boom.
would you think if police pulled you over and asked for a DNA test?
What?
One woman says it happened to her, and she called NBC5 to investigate the
Oh,
suspicious
glory
stop.
to Ahaya,
NBC5's
Bahasham Yashar.
Scott Gordon has been looking into
Oh,
the roadblock
glory
in
to
Fort
Ahaya.
Worth.
Worthy is the Lamb.
Kim Cope was on her lunch
He
break
that
Friday
judgeth the
driving
whore.
north on Beach when she came across 2 police cars with lights flashing.
Yeah, they were about right in here.
She
Bridget.
says the uniformed officers directed her into
Bail.
this parking lot.
I gestured to the guy in front that I just wanted to go straight, but he wouldn't let me and forced me into a parking spot.
Thrown
Once
into
parked,
Obama's
she says
feet.
she couldn't believe what she was asked next.
They were asking for cheek swabs. They would pay you $10 cash for that.
It's crazy.
They would
It's a
also, if you
business.
let them take your blood, they would pay you $50 for that.
Or at the very least, she says, they wanted to test her breath for alcohol for free.
It just doesn't seem right that you would be forced off of the road when you're not doing anything wrong.
Federal agency confirms they're doing this in 30 cities across the country.
You can't just be pulled over randomly or for no reason.
Yeah, it's got to be a
Civil
crime.
rights attorney
A
Frank
claim.
Pelosi questions
A
whether
valid
such stops
claim.
are constitutional.
I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. It just doesn't seem
They're
right
abusing
that they
their
should be
power.
able to do any of it. I mean,
They're the
if
devil's
it's voluntary,
minions.
It's voluntary,
Minions.
and again, it just none of it felt voluntary at all.
We should make it clear the people actually doing the survey were government contractors. The Federal Traffic Safety Administration did not respond to our specific questions.
After people get off a
They
plane,
dodged it.
the new airport exits are getting some strange looks. Some think they look like a
Controlling us
science fiction
even more.
intergalactic time machine.
I was expecting to get transported somewhere like on Star Trek. I thought, yeah, we finally got there.
Others were wondering if it was an X-ray
Causes
chamber
cancer,
or
too.
might fill up with dollar bills like on a
Radiation.
game show.
Yeah, it was odd. I'm like, where'd they come up with this? I'm not sure what it is.
Doors will open and close
It's
automatically.
probably a metal
The
detector.
voice giving instructions is futuristic, but the new exit portals are just part of the Syracuse Airport's $60 million renovation.
All
To
our
keep the
money
passenger
going into
area
junk.
secure, passengers leaving enter the portal, wait for one door to close.
We won't
then
be
the
able to
other
get
one
out or
opens.
get in.
The portal is one way. If anyone tries to get back into the secure area, the door automatically locks. Syracuse may be the
Wow.
first airport in
So you
New
can
York
go
State
in
to
and
have
can't get
the
out.
new exit portals.
It's probably
But the airport
bulletproof
commissioner
window.
says they will likely be showing up at airports around the country very
Oh,
soon.
man.
Employees at this KFC in
That's
West
bad.
Lafayette,
If a
Indiana,
terrorist
no
get hold
longer
of
need
that,
a password
oh.
to sign into their cash registers.
They come in and they put their finger on a fingerprint mechanism, and
Now they're getting your
it just
fingerprints.
automatically clocks them in.
Biometrics,
Even your
once
iPod.
considered a far-fetched
Evil
technology, is
invention-
becoming an everyday
evil
reality.
inventions.
From signing onto your phone, accessing your bank account, to entering a secured room. Your unique features are the key to unlocking anything worth safeguarding.
Which will be the chip soon. Yeah, America's dead. Babylon has fallen. Has fallen. Come out of it, my people. Leave America. Now, if you look in Revelations chapter 18, verse 8, therefore shall her plagues, her punishment, come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, nuclear bomb. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. Islam's going to come in, and we don't have weapons. Now read right here from Revelations chapter 18, verse 1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lighted with his glory. Boom! And he cried mightily, boom, with a strong voice, boom, saying, Babylon the great is fallen down after that, boom, is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Who? Jezebel, Lilith. You know her name? It's this right here. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, the dollar bill, and her doctrines, and her teachings, and her way of dealing business. Everyone want to copy America, even the way they dress. Now you got killer Arabians and terrorists in suits now. You got KKK in suits now, Black Panthers in suits now. You can't tell who is who and what is what. It's like Crips and Bloods taking off their color and putting on a neutral color in a suit. Like Mafia. That's all they are, man. It's evil bloodline. The OC is going to get wiped out. The tribe of Esau and Ishmael. And as well that some of the Hamites. Although some of the Egyptians and people from Samaria will be saved. Those who still believe in Christ. Yeshua. So, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues, of her plagues, of her plagues. Voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, my people, my people. Who is his people? Those who will listen. Come out of her, my people, my people, my people, my people. Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins. Like this is the ninth plague, like the ninth plague that happened on the Pharaoh in Egypt during the Egyptian times when Moses had freed us through the Most High, Christ, and Ahia, the Father, and the Holy Spirit. And he never trusted in his own mind, heart, and understanding, nor did he obey his own voice. He obeyed the Most High and knew the voice of the Most High compared to the voice of the Most Low. So, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself, and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and see no sorrow. So therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, and mourning, and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Most High thy God who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication with her, and lived deliciously with her in the army and all that stuff, shall bewail her, and lament for her, when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city America, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no one buyeth their merchandise anymore, nor use our dollars anymore. So verse 17 of chapter 18 of Revelation. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. Like crash the stock market. And every shipmaster, and all the company in ships, and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, commerce, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? Could be New York. Alright, so if you want to go ahead and read more of that, you can go ahead. These are all the judgments and prophecies what's going to happen during the end time. But now look at right here in alright, in chapter 17 of Revelation. This is the beast that goes into perdition. The one that was not and the one that was. The one that's the seventh king, the 7 heads on top of the Jezebel spirit, on top of the dragon, on top of the beast, the 7 heads and 10 horns on the dragon. Well, there's really 8, but the 8th is truly the 7th revived. So, because there were about 10 kings, but 3 of them died. 3 of them got wiped out, eradicated. So 10, 9, 8, 7. You see what I'm saying? So 7 kings are left. So the 7 kings are the 7 heads left on the beast. that rules 10 kingdoms. Well, this is what he say in verse 11 of chapter 17 of Revelation about that beast that's the 8th, and it's not, it's really the 7th. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7 heads, and goeth into perdition, killing, wrecking, ruining. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have not received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings. Islam, Iran, Libya, all of them. 1 hour with the beast, Obama. In England, Prince Charles. And the Vatican. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords, and King of kings, and they that are with him are called, and chosen, and faithful. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, Bridget, are peoples, and multitudes, and nations, and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, America, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. And God hath put in their hearts, in Islam's heart, to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, Obama, until the words of Ahaya shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city. So that's how we know who Babylon is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. So now let's go on to our next video now. Hope you guys are still with me on this. So we already seen this right here. Hold on one sec. Alright, this is them coming now.
Okay, guys, Stone Guy 223 here. I'm usually not a conspiracy theorist, but coming home from a match.
Our commercial. Who knew? Let's go ahead and rewind that real quick. Let me see where we're at on minutes.
Okay, guys, Stone Guy 223 here. I'm usually not a conspiracy theorist, but coming home from a match. I'm in South Georgia, coming out of Alabama. Check this shit out. UN. Coming out of Alabama. UN trucks. These look like brand new vehicles. I'm not sure what the hell is going on with this, or why we got UN trucks coming out of Alabama, or at least they're Alabama truckers. No identification on them, just UN trucks. Yeah, these are definitely brand new. All the furniture's brand new on them.
United Nations in America. UN, they're part of it too.
I wonder what the hell's up with that.
They're part of the 4 kingdoms.
There is a new worry on our southern border tonight, with border agents overwhelmed by this huge recent surge in illegal immigrants. The cartels are now taking advantage.
Megan, let me just say this. What I've watched over the last few days is so problematic that what I'm about to say on your show is the most important thing I've ever said on your show. We have so many problems facing this country. We know them all, especially the major ones: joblessness, welfare, national security, so on and so on. And as I stood on that border and I watched those cartels drag over all the things they did, I went over to the bus depots and watched thousands upon thousands of illegal aliens be bussed around almost as if they were at Disneyland, being sent off to somewhere USA. All I could think was that all those major problems just became a major epidemic. Our Border Patrol, I met with the Border Patrol today. I met with them secretly. They told me the morale is down. The criminals that are coming through this country is earth-shattering. And I can tell you this, I feel that our country and the future of our children have officially fallen off the cliff.
Now a closer look at those militants tearing Iraq apart, boasting of their brutality with those images we showed you at the top. Tonight we're learning more about them and about the man who leads them. He spent years in U.S. custody.
They have a strategy, and it's working. They use social media as a weapon. Many of the images in this story come from accounts associated with ISIS and can't be verified. Leader
ISIS,
of ISIS,
Jezebel.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, was in U.S. custody in Iraq
CIA
for 4
owned it.
years. When he was released in 2009, his parting words to U.S. troops, "I'll see you in New York."
That great city. New York is going to be underwater.
Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton weighing in on the controversial prisoner swap of 5 Taliban leaders for Sergeant Bo Bergdahl's freedom. She was asked if the exchange was like making a deal with the devil. Here's her answer.
Did he make a deal with the devil?
If you look at what the factors were going into the decision,
it's a fact.
Of course, there are competing interests,
of course,
and values.
I'd like to say to Bo right now, who's having trouble speaking English, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Ze'abayem. I'm your father, Bo. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Ze'abayem. I'm your father, Bo.
He's happy he spoke Arab.
Wall Street Journal is reporting that one of the detainees whose return has already told his family that he plans on waging war on America. So what this president did is he made a deal with the devil for a deserter, a man who didn't even like America.
That's why he gave up his seat to the beast.
In the spotlight tonight, America's gun problem. Yesterday morning, a 15-year-old student opened fire at Reynolds High School in Troutdale, Oregon, injuring a teacher and killing a fellow student before turning the gun on himself.
My biggest frustration so far is the fact that this society has not been willing
That's the false prophet.
to take some basic steps to
get to hell,
to keep guns out of the hands of people who can do just unbelievable damage.
Kill him.
President Obama is rallying supporters of gay rights. He spoke at a fundraiser in New York City last night for political donors who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender. He believes more needs to be done overseas.
There are still Americans out there who are vulnerable and alone and still need our support. So we can't stop.
We don't
We've got to keep fighting.
The president is promising to sign an executive order ending workplace discrimination by federal contractors based on sexual orientation. That would affect 14 million employees.
I'm here to actually talk to you guys really quickly about
in school.
This flag. This flag is not that old.
Rainbows,
this flag
Bridget.
Is the symbol of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer pride.
And that's not what it means.
Maybe all of you could help me read what it says out loud on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. The flag is what fulfills me and what fulfills the vision I have of the world.
They try and control your kids.
One high school salutatorian banned from discussing his faith in a graduation speech. He fought back this week. Take a listen.
Coming before you today,
that's the hat of the Masons.
All of them denied on the account of my desire to share my personal...
Take a listen.
In coming before you today, I presented 3 drafts of my speech. All of them denied on the account of my desire to share my personal thoughts and inspiration to you in my Christian faith.
It wasn't one that your school wanted you to share. You had heard 3 times that you couldn't include faith. What did the school tell you?
That's right. Now, the first and second times I submitted my speech last week, the school told me, as well as their attorneys, that any reference to God or Jesus or prayer of any kind was unconstitutional and they would pull the mic on me. Additionally, the third time I turned my speech in, they denied it and handed it back to me with God or any reference to my faith blacked out in black marker.
I mean, but look, all those, well, some would call them threats against your freedom of speech and religion.
We're going to make sure we pay attention to this because this type of thing is happening more often than not these days, it seems. And it's a sad reality that this type of hostility has to go on.
I go anywhere Greater Cleveland calls.
June 17th.
But it's with a video camera. And last Friday night,
let me know for next time.
You're going to be cited if you don't get rid of the term now.
Like I said, I can't get rid of it, so you got to do what you got to do.
The Parma man runs the Greater Cleveland Cop Blog, which, according to Odalecki, holds police accountable for the
Yeah,
lynchings.
man, we're definitely in the end times.
Last week,
Let
he
me
took
see
a
what's
camera
over
to the
here.
corner of State and Brook Park Roads, and he held up a sign warning drivers that an
Come out of her, ye my people, so you do not be partakers in her plagues. Come out of her, come out of her, come out of her, come out of her, that ye be not partakers of her sins.
It is a Nazi-esque style checkpoint. It is a papers, please type checkpoint. These guys are not out there for your safety or anything like that, so if you think that, think again.
Our sobriety checkpoint is all about educating the public, and we need them to come through the checkpoint to educate them.
The altercation was caught on camera as Odalecki insisted he had a right to warn drivers.
Alright, let's continue on.
State law, the police have to alert the public a few days before a checkpoint set up. But in this case, they didn't like that he was telling drivers
9/11, all that stuff, satanic stuff.
So
everywhere.
why is this thought to be a good idea to actually bring these high caliber weapons into U.S. streets?
I don't think it's a good idea. High caliber weapons are extremely dangerous. This type of velocity is not necessary. I spent 24 years in the Philadelphia Police Department. I am fearful of this type of police chief getting this type of equipment.
Welcome to the news at 9, and we start with breaking news. A scare for commuters in Weehawken after a threat near the Lincoln Tunnel.
Transformed Weehawken into an armed camp. Authorities swarmed the streets with heavy weapons, rifles drawn, canine units making sweeps. Police shut down 19th Street, not far from the Lincoln Tunnel. Police even ordered some passengers off this Hudson-Bergen light rail train. Many people seem stunned and visibly upset by the huge show of force.
I did see an army vehicle going by, and there were a lot of helicopters.
Police say the caller also said he had a gun and various chemicals.
There goes the
Authorities
chariots.
pinged or traced the call.
Well, a man accused of setting off a manhunt on the seacoast following a violent confrontation with police.
No one was hit by the
All
gunfire.
news people are CIA agents.
And backup arrived from across the region, including federal agents. Sections of routes 150 and 107 were shut down. A helicopter searched the wooded area
black
overhead.
helicopters.
An unsettling scene for people living here.
And they lie about you on the
Scary
news
because
to
you
make
don't
you
know
look
what's gonna
evil.
happen. You don't know who the person is.
See? They make you look evil. Alright, so we're done with that. So right here in Revelation chapter 18 verse 23 towards the end. Your merchants were the great men of the earth, for by their sorceries were all nations deceived. Remember what sorcery mean, right? Bridget, drugged, seduced, pacified, false peace, comfortable. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. All of us. So right here in verse 22. And the voice of harpers, H-A-A-R-P, and musicians, and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee. And no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee. And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. So when Christ comes, he's coming in war. He's coming to fight against them now. Chapter 19 of Revelation. Someone's going to be. And verse 11. Well, verse 10 towards the end. The testimony of Christ Yeshua is the spirit of prophecy. Worship God. Worship Ahia. For the spirit of Christ is prophecy. And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he do judge and make war. He do judge and make war. Christ. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. Faithful and true, Amen. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, the one they killed him in. And his name is called the Word of God, the Word of I am that I am, the Word of Ahia. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth cometh a sharp sword, and that which he should smite with that he should smite, hurt, damage the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God. So if you look right here, the vultures are going to be eating, in verse 18, the flesh of kings, the flesh of captains, the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and the flesh of them that sit on the horses and chariots in the tanks, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. And I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth, the presence of the earth in the beasts, Obama and Allah and all them, and their armies, the Caliphate, Islam Caliphate, Jihad, Al-Qaeda, gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse, and against his army. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire, burning with brimstone. And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, Christ Yis-RoyAl, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, the double-edged sword. And all the fowls were filled with their flesh for the last supper of them. So you read chapter 20, verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that he must be loosed for a little season. And then if you want to, you can reread all this. But read right here. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yeshua, and for the word of Ahia, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, the chip or the mark of Allah, the name of Allah. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. And if you want to, you can keep reading down. But right here in verse 10. And the devil that deceived them, the deceiver, was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, Ahia, and the books were opened. And another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. In verse 14, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. So those against us, those against the Most High, will be seeing a second death. And they will be thrown in the fire and brimstone. All those who won't repent after hearing all this stuff. Messing with Mystery Babylon. Alright, this is the other thing I want to read to you guys right here. So this in Revelation 6. And I saw when the Lamb, Yeshua, opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him. President, given a gun, weapons, and a crown. He was nominated. And he went forth conquering and to conquer. Just killing, just to kill. Verse 3, and when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon, to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword, great weapon. Now go down to verse 7. This is the fourth beast now. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him, Sheol. And power was given unto him, unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and to kill with hunger, and to kill with death, and to kill with the beasts, the animals of the earth. And this is all what's happening right now. And you can continue to read on there if you want to as well. So it is going to be famine. There's no real food. I'm going to make a video about Monsanto. All the food is fictitious. It's not real food. If you're eating it, you will die. And a lot of it's, there's poison in the food, like Fukushima, BP oil spill in the ocean water, seafood, and that's why we're told not to eat certain things according to the Bible. You see what I'm saying? So, hold on. Before we continue on, there's something I wanted to read. Okay, I'll read this towards the end. I'll read these two towards the end. Galatians. So the beast is going to be given power to destroy. So we finished that. Now look at this right here. This is ISIS. The horror riding the nations from Islam too is starting.
That key question this morning, just how dangerous those 5 Taliban members really are.
That Obama released.
We've been saying this morning, and ABC's chief investigative correspondent Brian Ross is here with more details on that.
Well, good morning, Robin. All 5 of the men were once considered senior members of the Taliban, and this morning, the terror group is calling their release a major victory. New video posted this morning on an Afghan news website shows the 5 former detainees arriving in Qatar with no sign they were under any sort of custody or guard.
The key question remains their release. How does that affect, or does it affect, our national security?
Well, at one point, all 5 men were described as too dangerous to be set free. And of most concern to counter-terror experts is the former Deputy Defense Minister for the Taliban, Mullah Mohammed Fazl, who, according to a U.S. assessment made 6 years ago and made public by WikiLeaks, had a high risk for the U.S. and its allies and was likely to rejoin the Taliban in fighting.
Members of the North Texas chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR, are calling for the resignation of a Keller ISD trustee. They held a news conference just about an hour ago. This move comes after Jolynn Hausman posted an anti-Muslim remark on her Facebook page.
Parents in Keller are shocked. It's definitely discouraging.
It's kind of sad to know that in this day and age that's still happening.
Their frustration is fueled by this Facebook post from newly elected school trustee Jolynn Hausman.
They say this is also not the first time she's made hateful comments online.
Well, public schools are supposed to be forums for open dialogue, but one Woodbury student says the internet at his school is only open to one side.
Page.
Townhall.com.
After page.
National Right to Life.
Woodbury student Andrew Lampart showed us screenshots of the internet taken from within Nonawag High School. Many of so-called political or advocacy websites blocked by the school's firewall. Then, for abortion issues, National Right to Life website,
blocked at the high school.
Planned Parenthood and Pro-Choice America
are both unblocked.
Lampart even says he found Christian sites blocked, including the website for the Vatican.
However, IslamGuide.com, obviously a Islamic-based text website, is unblocked.
He claims he informed Woodbury's superintendent of his discovery, but after a week, nothing was done.
A Webster man says his apartment manager told him his American flag was a threat to the Muslim community and that he has to take it down. Stepping onto Dewey Tran's balcony in Webster, one thing is clear.
It means a lot to me.
He's talking about his American flag that he proudly put up when he moved in just a few days ago. But then an apartment manager here at the lodge on El Dorado told him he had to take it down.
What really stunned me is, like she said, it's a threat towards the Muslim,
community. I mean,
we're getting a closer look at the terrorism raid that led to the arrest of 2 Central Texas men.
The FBI says those men were planning for a jihad abroad.
Some neighbors are finding out that someone who lived just next door may have connections to terrorism. Now here's a look at the scene out here yesterday. Members of the FBI are wearing tactical gear. Some wore shirts showing they were part of an FBI evidence response team. And a SWAT truck also parked out here. Now KXAN obtained these pictures from a source who wanted to remain anonymous. Court documents show this is the family home of a 23-year-old UT student. Investigators say Rahatul Khan conspired to recruit people. One of them was an FBI source. Back in Round Rock, a neighbor said he didn't notice anything strange.
And we just recently moved into this neighborhood back in October, and all the neighbors seemed friendly and nice. Never heard anything, saw anything out of the ordinary coming from the folks across the street or anything like that.
San Diego Craigslist ads searches for surveillance role players. You know, the crisis actors and so forth that you hear so much about. San Diego Craigslist ads searches for surveillance role players. Qualified personnel should demonstrate an established track record of conducting surveillance operations at various discretion levels, supporting surveillance training and military practice exercise training. Individuals with previous military, intelligence, community, and law enforcement experience are highly preferred.
So who are the fighters of ISIS? They're a Sunni Muslim
JEZEBAAL
jihadist group, an offshoot of Al-Qaeda, formed a year ago and pledging to create an Islamic State across Iraq,
and
Syria,
they're working
and
with
neighboring
Obama.
countries. They have strongholds in significant parts of northern Syria too. But their ambitions
The
go
wars
far wider.
Isaiah and Danielle
Create
said would
a
happen.
Muslim caliphate, a single Islamic State, to include not just Jordan and the Palestinian territories, but Israel too.
The same places in the Bible.
Good evening. Over a decade
They don't want to
after
tell
the
you because
American
prophecy's
invasion,
being
after
fulfilled.
all the blood and treasure spent on the battlefield, the billions of dollars spent on training and armaments, tonight a heavily armed expediting force, in some cases using American arms and vehicles, is making lightning speed from city to city across the Iraqi countryside, and a big part of that country has fallen to their control. They are known as ISIS, standing for the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria.
Some American veterans
JEZEBAAL
might be able to recognize their old Humvees, given to the Iraqi army. Some now shattered, burned, others taken over by Islamic militants, a splinter group of Al-Qaeda called ISIS, the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. The goal, the militants said today, to impose strict Islamic Sharia law.
They're free
not
to
just
do
in
what
Iraq,
they want to
but
do.
in Syria and beyond.
And the beast
They're
is
led by
Allah.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, a militant U.S. troops in Iraq, was in U.S. custody for years.
They're possessed by
Many say
devils.
he's the true heir to Osama bin Laden.
Growing concern that the terror tirade in Iraq
Possessed
will soon
by
be coming
devils.
here to the United States.
The seeds of 9/11s are being planted all over Iraq and Syria. You don't have to believe me. This is what they're telling you they're going to do.
I am concerned, and I think all Americans should be concerned. I guarantee you this is a problem that we will have to face. And we're either going to face it in New York City or we're going to face it here.
They keep saying New York.
I was on the flight with when we
great
transferred him north to Baghdad for final transfer to the Iraqis.
Statue
when
of
we handed
Liberty.
him off, he knew we were from New York, and he knew he was going to get out, in my mind, because as he left, he told me and the soldiers that were around me, I'll see you in New York.
Who is he? And that's the fear coming to a city, including New York, as a result of what they're doing. Our last message is to the Americans. Soon we will be in direct confrontation, and the Sons of Islam have prepared for such a day. So watch, for we are with you. Watch it.
And look at them. They're mainly white. They're American and English or something. They dress up like terrorists to blame it on
The best
Islam.
way to
still.
describe what the Obama administration is considering with Iran might be the old proverb, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
And Kerry made clear to Yahoo News one option on the table for tamping down the crisis in Iraq is some kind of partnership with Iran, despite the fact his own State Department recently...
And we have no army to
classified
protect
Iran
us
as
no
a state
more.
sponsor of
No
terror.
army, no police, no weapons, nothing, no president, no leader. Y'all being led to the slaughter. Get out of
Francis
America.
is jumping into the Mideast peace process. He hosted a prayer
Get
summit
out of
Sunday
America.
in Vatican City with Israeli
Now.
President Shimon Peres and Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas.
The unprecedented ceremony of 3 religions praying inside the headquarters of the world's 1.2 billion Roman
One world
Catholics
order
was
religions,
built
all
as a pause
religions
for
joining
peace.
up together
Jewish,
for false
Christian,
peace.
and Muslim prayers in Hebrew, English, Arabic, and Italian. Not even the participants expect anything concrete to come out of it all.
All leaders
but in
sold
the
out.
protracted and convoluted world of Middle East
They were the
peacemaking,
great men of earth.
gestures and symbolism have led to change, however small.
The vultures about to eat flesh.
Buses, controversial ads, the campaign promoting hatred between Muslims and Jews. Today, a group of faith leaders held a news conference condemning those ads and rolling out a campaign of their own.
Religious leaders say because of those ads, Muslims have been yelled at and disrespected. Now they're getting their own message out, this one of unity. Nahad Awad is Executive Director of Council on American Islamic Relations, or CARE.
We believe our message is the right message, the one that America believes in, the one that our faiths call for, which is coexistence, living, working together, and respecting one another.
CARE's new ad campaign is a direct response to one featuring the face of Hitler plastered on D.C. Metro buses last month, as leaders from several faiths, several backgrounds unite as one.
The Euphrates was predicted in the Bible too, that once it dry up, it'll be a pathway from Assyria to Egypt.
So
it dried.
Regarding
Prophecy
the water
fulfilled.
shortages in Syria.
It's a revelation.
Emanating from the blocking of running of
We're
water
near the
from
end
the Euphrates River in Turkey. In Aleppo, we
of
see
the
the
Bible.
opposition groups, including Al-Qaeda, of course, blocking water for 2.5 million people. And now we see Turkey, which is considered a friend of Syria, behaving like an enemy by cutting the water from Euphrates.
And the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east
With
might
all of
be
this
prepared.
public knowledge, Barack Obama brought this man to the White House, where he thanked the United States for bringing his son home, but quoting from the Quran, speaking in Arabic, thanks Allah.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Zayabayem. I'm your father, Bo. Bismillah ar-Rahman
He
ar-Rahim.
looked like a criminal.
Zayabayem. I'm your father, Bo.
Look at the upside down stars behind the devil heads. The star of ISIS. All praise to a higher. All praise to a higher Bahasham Yeshua. All praise to a higher Bahasham Yeshua. All praises to a higher Bahasham Yeshua. All glory to Yeshua, he who sits on the throne. Grandson of David. Gunning people down. Don't be surprised if I'm dead.
And well-financed.
Well-financed by our money because Obama.
Also known as ISIS, has rapidly morphed into the world's most dangerous jihadist organization. Its methods so extreme, Al-Qaeda itself has disavowed any relationship with it. And with each city it conquers, it seems its power and influence grows.
This is President Obama's real legacy. The creation of the first jihadi state in modern history, stretching from central Syria to central Iraq. This is shaping up to be the biggest Arab jihadi victory since the 12th century, 1187.
The tide of war is receding. Core Al-Qaeda is on its heels, has been decimated.
The world is less violent than it has ever been.
The truth? There has been a 60% increase in radical Islamist terrorism since you've been in office. And you just keep letting these guys out, like the Bergdahl trade and the 5 terrorists. There have been reports that say ISIS was trained by U.S. instructors at a secret base in Jordan. Why are they so angry with us?
Well, they want to reestablish the caliphate. They are operating
with a goal.
They're the one that was wounded and relived.
Worldwide. In their book, we are infidels and we need to be dominated. So their plan is not just for the Middle East. Their plan is a worldwide caliphate, and they are consolidating sources across the world.
All right, so this isn't a question of establishing, sometimes we hear about the ark, from Syria and Western Iraq and that ark. We're talking about a caliphate all over the world, not just in the Middle East. Is that correct? Do both of you agree with that? Eric?
Absolutely. Judge, that's the ultimate goal, is a worldwide global caliphate. It sounds crazy to a lot of people listening, but this is what they want. This is what they want.
Research that word, caliphate.
It starts in Iraq and Syria, then it expands. That's the
and they have the banner of Allah on their head.
They make that clear.
And wrist, look at the flags on their head.
City, Mosul, is now in the hands of
Forehead.
the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. ISIS, as it's known, now controls a vast stretch of territory from western Syria to central Iraq. The shockwaves of the ISIS blitzkrieg have reached Israel. Ironically, today, one of the quietest corners of the Middle East. ISIS and its allies are now flush with U.S.-supplied weapons and ammunition, abandoned by Iraqi troops.
And they can drive
Former
freely on the
Israeli
street.
Army intelligence analyst Jacques Neria sees the upheaval in Iraq as an opportunity to prepare for perilous times ahead.
Something big's about to happen here on U.S. soil. And this is why I'm making this video. United Nations Post New York, DDR, jobs for disarmament. Internship disarmament, demobilization and reintegration. They're taking our guns and kill us clean. During the time the people say peace and safety, sudden destruction come upon them in 1 hour. Utterly burned down. June 17th. Yeah, March 15th to 16th. Yeshaya is the answer. Give Yeshaya a try. If you don't like him, the devil will take you back. It's time to get real. Real. The time is at hand. Repent. Alright. So, right here, that is why there will never be any peace in the Middle East or any other place where they become the majority. So these are a few things from their Quran now that I found. So Quran chapter 3 verse 56. As to those who reject faith, Allah and Islam, I will punish them with terrible agony in this world and in the hereafter, because he's the devil. Nor will they have anyone to help. And it's in accordance with the Bible. But the Most High will be helping us. You see what I'm saying? The chosen people. But those that are prepared for the slaughter, that won't wake up now and accept truth, Yeshua, Christ, they will die. Here and in the hereafter. Nor will they have anyone to help. They're taking our guns. Muhammad has the right. This is the false prophet. Muhammad is the false prophet of the beast, the devil, which is Obama this day. Akhenaten. Muhammad has the right to kill all infidels and take your women and children. That's wild. They say this in their book, and they're living cold-heartedly in this. Chapter 5, verse 72 of the Quran. Infidel indeed are those that say Allah is Yeshua, son of Mary. So in chapter 5 verse 73, infidel indeed are those who say that Allah is a set of three, which is the God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So they're against everything that the Bible stands for. Chapter 47 verse 4, when you meet those who become infidel, that's what they call us, so strike their necks, decapitate them until you make a great slaughter amongst them. Quran chapter 4 verse 74. Let those fight in the way of Allah who sell the life of this world for the other. So they sell the physical life to get a spiritual life. So he called everyone who give up the physical life infidels. So Yeshua is an infidel. So we're warring with Islam, obviously. Whoso fighteth in the way of Allah, the Satan, the beast, be he slain or be he victorious, or him we shall bestow a vast reward. Whether you win or lose, death of life or life, if you serve Allah, you get something, I guess. But he's a tormentor of here and the other life. So how are you going to get something righteous from someone who's a tormentor? My God's a merciful God and forgiving God. Forgiving to all those and merciful on those who keep his commandments. And recompassing those who hate him, even their third and fourth generation of tribe and children. So right here, he says, the martyrs of Islam are unlike the early Christians, led meekly to the slaughter. These Muslims are killed in battle as they attempt to inflict death. This is why they do suicide things and destruction for the cause of the beast, Allah. Here is the theological basis for today's suicide bombers. This is what they believe. Chapter 9, verse 5 of Sahih. And when the sacred months have passed, then kill the polytheists, the polytheists, whoever believe in every other kind of religion, wherever you find them, after they get rid of Christians and Hebrew Israelites if they can, but they won't, and capture them and besiege them and sit and wait for them at every place of ambush. This is what they're planning for us and plotting for us. But if they should repent, establish prayer, and give zakah, let them go on their way. Indeed, Allah is forgiving and merciful, which is blasphemy. So if you don't believe in their stuff, there's no forgiveness and mercy for you. To believe in killing and murdering and slaughtering babies and blaspheming and lying and genocide. So this is who's running everything. Check this out right here. If you want to pause this and finish it up later, you can as well. But look, Galatians chapter 5, verse 18. Hold on, let me see. Alright. Chapter 5 of Galatians, verse 14. For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. The neighbors in the tribe. We should love our 12 tribes of Israel and stick together and reunite and get together. Because if we don't, these people's going to kill us. And the Christians. And these are the tribes. These are our bywords, proverbs, according to Deuteronomy. And these are our ancient names. So for all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. But if ye bite and devour one another, take heed that ye be not consumed one of another. This I say then, walk in the spirit which they're against. And ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh, which kills you and sends you to hell, where Allah will torture you hereinafter. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. The Holy Bible is against the Quran, and the Quran's against the Bible. And these are contrary. We're not the same to one another. So that ye cannot do the things that ye would. So they'll try to deceive you and keep you from loving and growing righteous. And if you are led by the flesh, you'll live for the flesh and think this is it and go straight to hell. There's a spirit and you need to feed it with the holy bread and the holy water of salvation, Christ. And drink him until you're full. And know that his blood is our forgiveness, because it made the blood covenant, blood contract for us righteous people. So verse 18 of chapter 5 of Galatians. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest. These are it. Which are these? Adultery, fornication, adultery, sex, cheating. Fornication, sex without marriage, and cheating on God with another God. Serving another idol. And adultery is breaking your marriage with the Most High to go marry the devil after you fornicated with her. And Jezebel is the princess of that seduction. Seduce you with not sound doctrine. So uncleanness is all the works of flesh. Lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, mancraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, blasphemy, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revellings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God, of Ahaya. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Christ's have crucified the flesh with the affections and lust. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vain glory, provoking one another, envying one another. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. For if a man think himself to be something, when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another. For every man shall bear his own burden. Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teacheth in all good things. Be not deceived, be not deceived, be not deceived. God, Ahaya, is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. And he that soweth the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. That connects with what we read in Revelation. As we have therefore opportunity, let us do good unto all men, especially unto them who are of the household of faith. Yis-RoyAl. Now if you want to keep reading more of that, you can go ahead. Let me see. Actually, we might as well go ahead and finish, because we only have this last part to it. So, verse 11. Ye see how large a letter I have written unto you with my own hand. As many as desire to make a fair show in the flesh, they constrain you to be circumcised. Only lest they should suffer persecution for the cross of Christ, for the word, the gospel. For neither they themselves who are circumcised keep the law, but desire to have you circumcised, that they may glory in your flesh. But Ahaya forbid that I should glory, save in the cross of our Lord Christ Yeshua HaMashiach, by whom the world is crucified unto me, and I unto the world. For in Christ Yeshua neither circumcision availeth anything, nor uncircumcision, but a new creature. And as many as walk according to this rule, peace be unto them, and mercy, and upon the Yis-RoyAl of God, Ahaya, Yis-RoyAl of Ahaya, Bahasham Yeshua, Waharawak Kwadash, Alayom. From henceforth let no man trouble me, for I bear in my body the marks of the Lord Christ Yeshua. Brethren, the grace of our Lord Yeshua Christ be with your spirit. Amen. That was in Galatians chapter 6. And now if we read right here in the first book of Timothy chapter 3. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, contract breakers, covenant breakers, constitutional breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, Beyonce, despisers of those that are good. What am I saying? That's not good. This is the truth, and it shall set you free. The door's open now. Come out. Traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. That come from God Almighty, our source. From such turn away from them type of people, like Allah, Islam, all that stuff. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins. All sex down by all types of men without marriage, fornication, adultery, prostitution, lust, harlotry, whoredom. Lead away with diverse lusts, all types of lusts, all types of selections of wants, needs, and desires, buts and I needs. Ever learning, always trying to learn, and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. Always learning, but never understanding these truths are in this reality you're in now. And you're one of the demons and angels. Now, as Janez and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds, reprobate concerning the faith, but they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be manifest. Everyone will see their folly. Unto all men, as theirs also was. But thou hast fully known my doctrine, manner of life, purpose, faith, long-suffering, charity, patience, persecutions, afflictions, which came unto me at Antioch, at Iconium, at Lystra. What persecutions I endured! But out of them all the Lord, Yeshua, Bahasham Mahaya, delivered me. Yeah, all that will live godly in Christ Yeshua shall suffer persecution. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse. They'll get worse and worse and worse. Deceiving and being deceived. Deceiving and being deceived. Worse and worse. Evil men seduced. Evil women seduced by Zeus, the devil. But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned in this book and has been assured of, because this is the truth, Amen. Knowing of whom thou hast learned them from, Ahaya, Bahasham Yeshua, Christ, and that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures, which are able to make these wise men unto salvation. These holy scriptures is what you've learned through faith which is in Christ Yeshua. All scripture is given by inspiration of God, and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, to prove people the truth, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God, may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works. So if you want to keep reading the rest of that, I was in the first book of Timothy. So now, before we finish up, we're going to watch our last few videos. So if you want to pause and watch the rest of this later, go ahead. But I know this is very important. These last few ones I want to show you guys. It says go ahead. All praise to the Most High, about Sham Yeshua. This is about ISIS.
Share with you some information that I was looking at that I put out a year ago, and I think it's crucial because it's the plan that they have laid out for the next 20 years. Well, you're in the middle of it. This Jordanian journalist had interviewed all of these top leaders from Al-Qaeda, and he described what he called their grand strategy, and it was a sequence of events that spread over 20 years. This first phase was 9/11. Then we went through an eye-opening phase and several other phases up to the point to where we are now. 2013 to 2016, almost right on cue, as he states that this Islamic movement will have shifted the balance of power in the Middle East away from the West and Israel. Now, they will be supported by new allies, he says, such as China. In this environment, a new caliphate will be established. The sixth phase, in the most brutal, in this last...
Revelation chapter 2, verse 16. Repent, or else I will come unto thee quickly, and will fight against them, against you, with the sword of my mouth.
Till 2017. 2016, 2017, right around there, till 2020. This is called total confrontation. where they plan to defeat any non-believer, and you see what they do. Following this, they plan a final phase called the definitive victory, I guess the final blow, to where they take control of the whole world. This is their plan. And I hate to tell them they're going to get defeated. The problem is these gangsters running all these elites of the world here are fueling this. If they wanted this stopped, they would. But let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. This is genocide, and this is their plan. They are going to use these barbaric men that they are watching by satellite, that they're watching by drone, and that they could have wiped off the face of the planet if they so choose. They could have already done it. But why would they blow up what they've been training, arming? You see? The gig is up, guys. I'm telling you. The awakening's here. Open your eyes. You can see it. They're busted. They've trained Al-Qaeda, ISIS this whole way, and now they're afraid to even bomb them. The Pentagon just came out and made a statement. It may be too risky. It may backfire. How is it going to backfire? It's never stopped you before from killing innocent people all across the globe by drone. Never. They are afraid to do it, they say. Really? That it's going to backfire? You're afraid they're going to attack us here? Why? Because you've got them here, as I've shown you as well. American citizens flying to Syria, you're sending them arms to fight, murder, and they can fly right back. It's sick, and it's the truth, and it's scary. And as this man states, we're right on schedule for what they want, and you guys better not forget it at this point. This is the plan.
Prepare for battle.
Laid out. Now, it's like a playbook. They're going to try and play this whole thing out like a playbook along the way. Now, let's look at what they've done here recently. Greater Syria is called Shalam. Okay, and the people in the Middle East see it different than we do over here. It's like an illusion. We see it as the geographic region on a map that's been outlined with Jordan, Turkey, Iraq, all at its borders, Israel, Lebanon. But they all see Greater Syria as being bigger than Syria. It extends into the northern part of Iraq, Jordan. It's way bigger than that. So I believe that is their end goal here. It's much bigger than the image of what they want to carve out here in the caliphate from here down to here. This is what they've done, and they've stunned everyone coming through quickly, even causing the Iraqi army to drop their guns and flee. 500,000 people had to run out of the city because the army just dropped. How? The reason is because they're so highly trained, heavily armed, and they're getting satellite data straight from you-know-who, telling them where everyone's sitting, how to do it, where to go, and they're basically just saying storm in right now, guns blazing. They're doing so. And these people do not stand a chance at this point. I'm telling you. These troops are looking up to the heavens. These Islamic jihadists looking to the heavens, praying for help. They're getting it all right from U.S. and other spy satellites that are watching everything and giving away everything. That's the whole point here. So as you can see, they have these people in Iraq, the Shiites, getting cornered, and Baghdad almost surrounded. They've had Fallujah since January, going on almost 6 months, and I just found that out, so I didn't realize they had it for that long. That's how long this has been going on here, and they followed the rivers down, Tigris and Euphrates, and right here, they're getting right up on the doorstep of Iran. So, interesting to see how they play this out. I guess all we can do is sit back and watch at this point. And you know, I said before, you know, China.
Now, if you want to continue seeing that, that's all about the Jezebel, the ISIS thing that they're trying to do right now. So if you go right here and We're about to start wrapping it up. Let's see what this is right here. We already seen this. Alright, Ginger 21, which is part of their plan. The destruction. So all these beasts were appointed to do this because the Most High told him to. But if you read right here in Revelation chapter 13, verse 3, or verse 4, chapter 13 of Revelations. And they worshipped the dragon, Allah, which gave power unto the beasts, the liar. And they worshipped the beast, which is a group of people. The beast is a group of people. Saying, who is like unto the beast, that group of people? And they call themselves the beast, like they go into beast mode. Who is able to make war with him? I go into angelic mode. Pure light manifests on you. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. People is like, who is able to make war with him? So he gave him power. People voted for him to give blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Ahijah, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle of Zion, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given unto him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. So we stop right there for right now. So let me see, there's something else that I wanted to show you. Hold on one sec. Halalahaya Bahisham Yeshaya Waharawak Kwadash. Halalahaya Bahisham Yeshaya Waharawak Kwadash. Halalahaya Bahisham Yeshaya Waharawak Kwadash. Alright, so chapter 3 of Revelations, verse 5. He that overcometh, the same shall be clothed in white raiment, and I will not blot out his name out of the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father, Abba Ahaya, and before his angels, Alayam. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith. So chapter 2, verse 26 of Revelations. And he that overcometh and keepeth my words unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. To who? To whoever overcometh. One of the people of Israel specifically. And keepeth my works, these words and testimonies, unto the end, which we're in right now, to my death. To him will I give power over the nations. Let God be the judge though. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers. And he's talking about Yeshua, Christ, because he's the one who overcame it and kept the work. Even as I received of my Father. And Christ said, even as he received from his Father. So you got to do just as he did. And I will give him the morning star. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith. So verse 23 of chapter 2 of Revelation. And all the churches shall know that I am the Ahaya, he which searcheth the reins and hearts. And I will, Ahaya, give unto every one of you according to your works. So he's going to give to you according to your works. Verse 24. But unto you I say, and unto the rest of Thyatira, as many as have not this doctrine, as many who don't have this doctrine that I'm teaching you today, to repair you today, and which have not known the depths of Satan, and as they speak, not the doctrine I'm speaking today, but the doctrines of Jezebel, because that's what you was talking about specifically, because we're keeping the doctrines of the Most High God, Ahaya, Al-Shaddai Ahaya, Ha'adan Ahaya, Adonai Ahaya. So, as many that have not this doctrine, the satanic doctrine of Jezebel, and which have not known the depths of Satan, because it's the depth of Satan, Isis, as they speak, I will put upon you none other burden, other than what you're going through already. but that which ye have already hold fast till I come. Verse 11 of chapter 3 of Revelation. Chapter 3 verse 11 of Revelations. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown, which is Christ. So, all right, we're about to start wrapping it up. Let me go ahead, put this on. These two I'm not going to be reading. That's for something else. You may want to read it for yourself since you're seeing it. So, all right, this is in hold on one second. This is in Acts. Okay, Acts chapter 3 verse 15. So they killed the Prince of Life, which is Christ, because Christ is also the Prince of Life, Yeshua. Whom Ahaya, God, I am, the Almighty I am, Exodus 3:14, hath raised from the dead. Wherefore we are witnesses, and his name through faith in his name, Ahaya, Bahasham Yeshua, hath made this man strong. I am made him strong, whom ye see and know. Yeah, the faith which is by him, which is this book, this prophecy, this Bible, our national book of law for Yis-RoyAl specifically. Given him this perfect soundness in the presence of you all. So the faith which is by him hath given him this perfect soundness, keeping the laws and commands in the presence of you all. And now, brethren, I wot that through ignorance ye did it, as did also your rulers. You can't do it through ignorance. Got to be aware and sound. But those things which Ahaya before had showed by the mouth of all his prophets that Christ should suffer, he had so fulfilled. So he died for us. For all the prophets of Israel that were killed and slain, the 12 prophets, the 11 disciples, and the other people throughout the book who are witnesses and apostles and things like that, witnesses, and people who are Roman that killed Christ, that repented and, testified too. And these are the testaments, Old and New. Old Testament, New Testament. So this is how you use this book. He hath so fulfilled, so this will be fulfilled too. Verse 19, parable, metaphor. Repent ye therefore, and be converted, that your sins may be blotted out, and not you. When the times of refreshing shall come from the presence of the Lord, Christ Yeshua HaMashiach Wahamalach. And he shall send Yeshua Christ, which before was preached unto you today, and before, whom the heaven must receive until the times of restitution, recompense, revenge of all things, which Ahaya had spoken by the mouth of all his holy prophets, since the world began till now and forevermore. For Moses the lawgiver, the servant of God, chosen by God, truly said unto the fathers, the forefathers, a prophet shall the Lord, your God, Ahaya, Bahasham Yeshua, raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me. Him shall ye hear in all things whatsoever he shall say unto you, which is Christ. And it shall come to pass that every soul which will not hear that prophet shall be destroyed from among the people. Yeah, and all the prophets from Samuel and those that follow after, as many as have spoken, have likewise foretold of these days. Yeah, are the children of the prophets and of the covenant which God, Ahaya, made with our forefathers, saying unto Abraham, Abram, and in thy seed shall all the kindreds of the earth be blessed, even Christ. Unto you first, Ahaya, having raised up his son, Christ Yeshua, sent him to bless you, and turning away every one of you from his iniquities, from your iniquities and sins. So you must come to the Bible and start reading everything quick, because the time's almost up And once the time's up, you're done. So the last 2 videos I'm going to show you before we're done.
Well, a veteran may lose his home all because of an American flag in his flower pot. A Florida Homeowners Association has declared only plants are allowed in flower pots, and they fined him more than $8,000. If he doesn't pay up, they could foreclose on his home.
They said it's an unauthorized object going in a flower pot.
And you felt, what about that?
Well, I feel...
Starting to thunder a lot outside. But let's reset that real quick.
Well, a veteran may lose his home all because of an American flag in his flower pot. A Florida Homeowners Association has declared only...
strapping on guns to protect the pot.
And you felt, what about that?
Well, I feel very strongly about the American flag. There's people that are still fighting wars and strapping on guns to protect me and the people I love.
So currently you are being fined for having an American flag in a flower pot, $8,000, so much you owe, that if you do not pay this, because you want to have the American flag proudly displayed in your flower pot, what will happen to you?
They will file a foreclosure lien to take my house.
If you've looked around the streets of your own hometown and maybe you've seen stuff that looks like it came out of a war zone, well, get used to it. A new report by the ACLU finds that police forces throughout the U.S. are arming their law enforcement agents with weapons and tactics of war.
Weapons and equipment that's specifically designed for the war zone is flooding into local police, and so when they have it, they're going to want to use it. When police officers are looking like cops, looking like soldiers, acting like soldiers, they're going to start to see everyone around them as an enemy instead of people to protect and to serve. And so that sort of keeps the cycle going of violence. And what we've seen is that specifically through this 1033 program, which that's the Department of Defense program that...
Alright, you can go ahead and see that video if you want, but it's part of Agenda 21. It's important to know because they're killing us through famine and everything I've been talking about in all my videos. Last video I want to show you guys, before we finish off right here, it says in Revelations chapter 13. Well, actually, let me see. I don't know if it's... Actually, it's in Revelations chapter 12. Let me see. Let me see if I should read that one right now. With free and bond. Actually, let's go ahead and see this video. I'll read it to you guys last. We'll end it off with that. This is Illuminati now in New World Order trying to recruit people. So we're in the end. This is ancient Egypt pyramid. Ill light, illuminate, ill light.
Hello, initiates, and welcome to the Illumicorp video training course. I would like to officially welcome you as a member of the team.
Makes you feel strange.
And perhaps the most
they look very
exciting
evil.
In our long history. Our founders shared a passionate dream.
Feel the uncleanness in them.
This country and eventually the whole world to one cohesive organization. When Illumicorp finishes gaining centralized control over the resources of the planet, and we will, we can then organize, distribute, and govern for the benefit of all. After competition and dissent are eliminated, we will build a utopia for the people of the world to share based on need and rejoice together in a harmonious new world. This presentation is designed to enlighten you about our organization's goals and achievements. As your guide, I will help to answer some basic questions you might have about Illumicorp and familiarize you with the valuable role you will play in helping us reach our prime objective. So please, take a tour with me as we march together towards an exciting new world. All people are aware of class. To them, society is made up of the rich, the middle, and the poor. The one thing that all three classes don't understand is that the pyramid continues upward. There is a detached hidden capstone made up of an elite board of directors who own and manage Illumicorp. The three classes below, in essence, become the assets and resources of Illumicorp. Illumicorp
Rebuke
is
it.
divided into various administrative
Put
branches,
fire on them.
but each branch has the same 5 levels in their hierarchy. You will begin at the bottom, in the initiate category. As such, your role will be to make sure that your orders are carried out through the sub-corporations and institutions.
Only someone on drugs would do that. Look at their own government, everything.
You will be placed in plain sight, at the head of a company or institution of the public sector, to carry out the plans delivered from above. Remember, your role is very important. You will be the face of Illumicorp to the outside world. You are our
I can't even look at this devil.
below. Never speak publicly about your orders or your masters.
Never speak open about it.
Administrative branches and their functions. You will be placed in a top position of power among one of the following sectors. In this way, as you are monitored and guided from above, you will decide strategy and introduce programs that further our goals. For that is the secret to Illumicorp's success. Control the head, and you control the body.
Oh, man.
This is potentially Illumicorp's most effective instrument for global control. Through international banking, we manipulate the fate of all countries. We've introduced many institutions, such as the IMF and WTO.
They're the criminals.
That work in our favor to impoverish disobedient nations.
Look at Mammon.
Always remember, debt is a powerful weapon against countries that don't share Illumicorp's vision. Perhaps our greatest achievement in banking is the Federal Reserve System. It is a collection of international banks owned by Illumicorp members and financiers.
So they're changing the Federal Reserve Bank.
Centralized banking system through the Federal Reserve Act.
Dealing with the government will be like dealing with the devil.
That was indeed penned by some of our most esteemed members. Many of you might still assume that the government itself prints and issues the currency. That is not the case. When America needs money, they go to our boys and ask for it. The money is printed, but it is only representative of a loan. Interest accrues on that dollar until it is paid back to the Fed.
So they're all in this.
The federal taxes paid by the American population go almost entirely to paying off this debt. So you see, Illumicorp derives a healthy amount of its operation funding directly from the debt of the public. Needless to say, this is one of our most crucial sources of funding and one of our proudest achievements here at Illumicorp. Through mergers and acquisitions, we have slowly and silently bought up the majority of U.S. industry. Illumicorp and its members own most of the oil,
all these people with it,
CBS, banking, media, food and communications industries in America and abroad. Through fewer and fewer conglomerates, we are able to effect with great precision the machinations
of labor
everything. And government. Ultimately, corporations will replace government as a centralized international body that can meet the needs
Try to make that look like an eyeball of the devil.
Without the chaos created by national self-interest. When Illumicorp goes public, corporatism will be the foundation for world.
I can't take no more of that. That stuff is lunatic. But yeah, if you want to finish seeing what they want to say about that, go right here. And dumb people are saying right here, he's a lizard. Okay, here it comes. What have been presented here is only a glimpse of the truth. The only thing here is the two-dimensional view of the whole 9 yards. So they're messing with people. People look at great video. Sexualized control over the resources of the planet. What the heck? See, these people are crazy. These people are crazy, man. Game over. Everyone knows it, man. It's game over, bro. It's game over. I don't know if you believe it or not, but for them, it's game over. So let's go ahead and finish it off with this. Let's see, where is that? Alright, we're going to go ahead and end it off with this. So in chapter 12 of Revelation, verse 17, and the dragon, Allah, the devil, Islam, was wrought with the woman, Israel, Yis-RoyAl, and Christians which were running away from Roman Catholic rulership and converted into Israelite, but they were called Christians because they were always pagan. So the dragon was wrought with the woman, the believers, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, the rest of the believers, especially the Hebrew Israelites, Yis-RoyAlites, which keep the commandments of God the ones that keep the commandments of the Most High, like I'm doing now, and have the testimony of Christ Yeshua, which is this. So, and the dragon was wrought with the woman. Alright, so right here, but no matter what, if you read in Revelation chapter 13, verse 9, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So we're going to be ruling them. They're going to be our slaves and all this stuff. He that killeth with the sword, with the weapon, them that's killing us with the weapon, must be killed with the gun, must be killed with the sword, must be killed with the weapon. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. What? That he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, and he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints, which keep the commandments of Ahia. This is a command, and have the testimony of Christ Messiah, which is this, which I'm proving. So right here, to finish it off, reading chapter 21 of Revelation, verse 5. Wait, verse 3. And I heard a voice great out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of Ahia is with men, and he will dwell with them, Emmanuel, and they shall be his people, Yis-RoyAl, and Ahia himself shall be with them. That's the marriage of the bridegroom and the bride. Yis-RoyAl is the woman, it's the bride that gave birth for the father's children, which is Ahia's children, God's children. Israel's the God's children. Christ was the first fruit from our family to achieve what he achieved, and now we're all following. And in the whole world we follow Israel, because we're a holy nation, a holy example. You see, Christians haven't been keeping the word of Israelites. They don't even know this is a history book. So he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. Kuram Yis-RoyAl, and God, Ahia himself, shall be with them. Him himself, Christ, Yeshua, Emmanuel, and be their God, our creator and everything. And God, Ahia, shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, from our eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, Yeshua said, Behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful, which mean Amen. These words are true and faithful. I testify. And he said unto me, It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son and daughter. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and the murderers and the whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. And the dragon was wroth with the woman. Chapter 21, verse 22. This is a glimpse of the city, because I skipped a couple of parts, but this is how the new city is going to look, the new Jerusalem, Yahweh Shalom. And Ahia is going to be ruling Shalom, peace, the God of peace. So, and I saw no temple therein, for the Lord God Almighty, Abba al-Shaddai, Ahia, Bahasham Yeshua, the Lamb, are the temple of it. They're the temple of it. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon, to shine in it. For the glory of Ahia did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. Christ Yeshua is the light, which is the truth, and it sets me free. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it. And the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor into it. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there, no darkness. And they shall bring the glory, hallelujah, hallelujah, shaya, and honor of the nations into it. And there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination, or maketh a lie. Like Obama nations. But they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of God, Ahaya, Abba al-Shaddai, Ahaya, and of the Lamb, Christ Yeshua, Hamashiach, Wahamalak. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, which are the 12 tribes of Yis-RoyAl, and yielded her fruit every month, and the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of God, Ahaya, and of the Lamb shall be in it, Yeshua, Ahaya, Bahasham, Yeshua, and his servants shall serve him. And they shall see his face, seek his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads, Ahaya. And there shall be no night there, and they need no candle, neither light of the sun. For the word, I am that I am, Ahaya, Bahasham, Yeshua, Ahaya, Shur, Ahaya, giveth them light. And they shall reign forever and ever. And he said unto me, these sayings are faithful and true. Aman, affirmed. And the Lord God, Ahaya Bahasham Yeshua, of the holy prophets, the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 manner of fruits that are going to be yielding their fruit every month, giving birth to new kinds of to people like us, to be a healing to the nation. So we will be a headquarter for the universe, to learn the word of the creator of universes. So, these sayings are faithful and true, and the Lord God, Ahaya Bahasham Yeshua, of the holy prophets, sent his angel to show unto his servants the things which must shortly come. Who is his angel? Christ Yeshua. He's the spirit of prophecy. How we know it's a prophecy? Because the Most High said he sent his servant Christ Yeshua unto he sent the holy prophet. So look it. The Lord God of the holy prophets, which are the servants of the Most High. Prophets are servants of the Most High. So the God of the prophets and the servants, the God of them sent his angel, Christ Yeshua, to show unto his servants, to show unto the prophets and everything, the things which must shortly be done, which means it will be done. That's future. So behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keepeth the sayings of the prophecy of this book. Verse 13. I am Alpha and Omega, Ahaya Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without are dogs, and sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever maketh a lie, which mean live based on the carnal life and material things, and the government, and the police, and sheriff, and school, and doctors, and judge. Have a great day, y'all. Halalahaya Bahasham Yeshua. Halalahaya Bahasham Yeshua. Halalahaya Bahasham Yeshua Waharawak Kwadash. May we all be set free.